Frankie versus Sasuke.
Yes! I can win! I feel great!
Oh, snap! The organizers of the failed fire festival are feeling the heat.
And we're back. One Piece 996 is out. Links in the description. It came out early, but as always, when the official drops, go ahead and support the Zolo-boys. Compare the translations, because there are often differences. Some are minuscule. You know, pick and choose what you want for your own headcanon, but the official is always the way that we have to go either way. Personally, last week is still the reigning champ. Let's see, you know, if anything can topple it as we get closer to 1,000. I'm confident that it can. But there's still a lot of stuff to talk about this chapter, so we're going to get into it. My one takeaway was that going into 996, I was like, I want more Tama, I want more Nami, I want more Usopp stuff. So I get that. Is that going to be it for that? I want more. A little bit of a sidebar here. Years ago when we first met Momonosuke, Momo was peach in Japanese. He was wearing this garb that sort of had peaches on it. It was reminiscent of the story of Momotaro. And that is a Japanese folklore. I'll put links to different translations in the descriptions, and I'll go way more in depth with this in a future video. But essentially, people thought that Momonosuke was the avatar for Momotaro in the story. But I've been saying since we first met Tama that she is the avatar of Momotaro. Because in that story, it is about a boy, you know, in this case a girl, that feeds kibidangos to a dog, a baboon, and a pheasant, and then travels to Onigashima, yes, it's called Onigashima in the story, to vanquish the Onis, the demons. So, man... The fact that Hihimaru is here also is just hammering in these Momotaro pieces. She's got the baboon with her too. Because the whole story of Momotaro in the first place is that, you know, you collect your friends and you head to Onigashima. So of course Tama was going to come. Now, with the presence of Hihimaru here, it makes me wonder what's going to be the pheasant, the representation of the pheasant. Now, of course, we have Marco, which is a pheasant, you know, a phoenix. No, Tama's not going to tame Marco, but I'm racking my brain trying to figure out if there was some sort of, like, mythical bird creature in Wano that we saw that maybe Tama has also tamed. But can we just talk about Hihimaru for a minute, guys?
So if Drake is in the Tobiropo, and Ulti and Page 1 are also in the Tobiropo, but Drake is supernova level, like Luffy and Kid, so that means that Ulti and Page 1 have to be sort of at supernova level, and if Hihimaru can hold off Page 1, so that puts him sort of on a supernova level too, right, guys? And if he can really hold him off for 3 minutes, then he might be top tier, guys.
Savage.
Hihimaru for MVP, right? One of my favorite things in this chapter was Tama's conviction at the end when Nami is like, why are you here? And, you know, she's just like, hey, we're samurai too. And yeah, Nami, chill. That's the MVP of the arc here. Like, come on. One of the most important things to look at and to speculate on is this line, I had, keyword had, an enemy ship bring me here, leads me to believe that she fed dangos to some beast pirates and they let her stow aboard with Hihimaru and Kamachio and potentially a bird creature as well, if we're keeping in the line with the Momotaro. Another thing to note with the story of Momotaro is that it was sort of twisted during World War II as a propaganda tool against foreigners. So I don't know if Oda is sort of peppering that in, and potentially like Tama considers any foreign ship an enemy ship, so that we could be in for a reveal of some other players that we are not privy to. Now, in terms of this enemy ship thing, I do still believe that Tama coerced some gifters to bring her there. It does bring into question whether or not she was actually the shadow all those chapters ago behind Robin and Jinbei, but I still think that that is the case. Now, to tie some theories together, jumping all the way to the end of the chapter with Sanji, having some sort of reaction to something that's happening on the third floor, it's very likely that what he is hearing is Black Maria, but could this be Ivankov? The laughs are similar, but they're not exactly the same. Someone pointed out on Reddit that Ivankov's laugh is written in katakana, while this person's laugh at the end of the chapter is written in hiragana. But is it completely out of the realm of possibility that the Revolutionary Army shows up in Wano? No. But is there an established line of thought and foreshadowing for this to actually happen? Yes. When Sabo and Koala and Hack are in Dressrosa, their main goal is to find the weapons. And they want to understand where these weapons are actually being made. Now, we know that those weapons are actually being manufactured on Wano. And, there's the whole drunken iron ore thing. Koala brought that to Dragon at the end of the arc. Drunken iron ore is something that is on Wano, so that's that tie that would let them know that they have to go to Wano. Although with everything at the Reverie, I think they're tied up. But if they knew that the raid on Onigashima was going to happen, then it's very possible that they want to capitalize on this situation and head there as well, and just sort of kill two birds with one stone while Luffy has already amassed, this started this war. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know, but that Sanji reaction is very similar to the way that he reacted on, Okama Island a bunch of times. There's claim for this. Spending too much time on this, on things that probably deserve their own videos. One of my other favorite aspects of this chapter is that we're getting maps. So we move over to Yamato versus Sasuke. Yamato is putting in work. He's doing a great job. And then, of course, as I've been saying it, what I think is going to happen is that he's going to run into Sasuke. Sasuke is coming from outside. And we know that the other person that was going outside was Frankie. Seems like we're going to get a little bit of Yamato versus Sasuke, but I still want to see Frankie show up and take over that fight. And allows Yamato to progress with Momonosuke and continue protecting him. I'm waiting for it. Frankie versus Sasuke. Woo! A lot of people in the community wanted to see this, but I have definitely been a very vocal person of this. Frankie versus Sasuke. And yes, let's get that confirmation that Sasuke has some sort of tie or relation to Kokoro from Water 7. This, of course, is entirely based on their hair color, which is exactly the same, and their style of hats. And, they're fishmen. That's all I'm going off of, guys. But, that's enough for One Piece. A lot of stuff here that's really going to help out the Yamato for Nakama crowd. I do not think that Carrot is going to join. I'll eat my words, but, I don't see that happening. My top people for the crew are Vivi to come back. It's going to happen. And Tama as Cabin Girl. But Yamato, I could see. They want to go out to sea. This interaction with Frankie is very reminiscent of other times that, crew members have interacted. He's already following orders from Luffy. That interaction with Frankie was great. Taking out Hacha, MVP moment right there. Now Frankie can focus on Sasuke entirely. There's still some Armored Corps members, but I'm sure Frankie will make quick work of them. And, then we'll get some sort of a fight between the two, and eventually it'll come out that, that Sasuke knew Tom, or, is the son of Kokoro, you know, and the father of Chimney, maybe. You know, maybe Frankie and Sasuke already know each other, and it's something where it's like, where have you been, dude? Like, Chimney's been waiting for you. It's all, there's a lot of possibilities here. And then we can flip Sasuke to our side. Yamato's looking like Bartolomeo right now, knowing all of the crew and their bounties. Important things to note in this part is that it seems that Yamato is also a Zoan user. Easy to miss panel, it appears as though Yamato is going to transform. His teeth come out, and we have no idea what this means yet, but, you know, we'll find out soon enough. And then the panel where Yamato says to Momo that he believes that Momo is the one that's going to bring the dawn of this world. Oh, Yamato. I thought you knew better. It's not Momo. Or does Yamato know more than we do based on Odin's journal? Or, based on Odin's journal, is Yamato making a false assumption? Things to think about, things to find out. So when Yamato falls with Momonosuke and Shinobu, they fall down into what appears to be basement 2. If you look at the surroundings and the beams and everything around, it appears as to be very similar to where we see Law. And going into the Law scene, oh, look who decided to show up.
Savage.
Welcome to the party, buddy. This is another pin in my hat for my Law is a member of Sword Theory. If you have not watched that yet, be sure to check that out. Links in the description. Just having Oda remind us about Corazon is it's a pin in the hat. What we do get here, interestingly enough, is Law's dream. Law has a dream, guys. We never really had confirmation of this. There were hints of it, but this is point-blank factual. Law's dream is now to uncover the Will of D. No one else has that. I mean, Robin wants to learn about it, but, you know, her main thing is the history and the Void history. The Will of D is part of that, but Law specifically wants to understand what goes into that. And a lot of people did speculate, I believe myself included, that Law would be finding the poneglyph before anyone else. What was he expecting to find? He can't read it. He's like off on his own trying to... where is his crew?
Savage.
Because he did travel with Beppo, Shachi, and Penguin. None of them anywhere to be seen. But here, he is by himself at this poneglyph. He ditched his crew. This will be an interesting thing. You know, I can already see the anime, you know, like cutting out all of the sound in this moment and just like hearing his footsteps as he approaches this poneglyph that he can't read.
Savage.
Why are you looking for it, buddy? You don't have Robin there. But there is this flashback to him and Robin. This could be at Zo. But I think that this flashback happened while Luffy's group was on Whole Cake. After the, you know, Zoro, Law, Robin group had landed in Wano, but before they assumed and assimilated into their flower capital disguises. Because if you look, I was trying to look at the buildings, and they don't, you know, there's a lot of crumbling going on, so it could be Zo, but then there's also these sort of designs that make me think that they're actually somewhere in Wano. Law and Robin shippers are probably going to, you know, use this as a feather in their cap. Ooh, they're alone having a conversation. Well, you know, good on you guys. So Law has had death flags ever since we learned about the perpetual eternal life operation. But that also kind of went in line with the fact that we don't understand Law's motivations. We didn't know what his dream was. We didn't really understand why he wanted to go after Kaido. Doflamingo made sense because of Korra. But, that's also why, I developed the sword theory in particular, is because, I needed to add some motivation to this guy. Obviously there's the whole thing in Flevence. He wants to get revenge on the world government for, killing his family. Yeah. Why would he become a pirate? There's no sense in it. Now that he has a dream, it's going to be harder for Oda to kill him before he achieves that. Or it's going to be bittersweet, and then it's going to be the inherited will that he passes on. I couldn't find out what the will of D was, so you're going to have to do it for me. But I feel that Law will survive Wano. I think that he will die by the end of the series, probably in the final war, but I don't think that he's going to be a casualty of Wano. Someone that I do think has a higher chance of being a casualty in Wano is actually the guy that we see in the following scene, Eustace Kid. Look who also decided to show up. Welcome to the party, buddy.
Savage.
You think Kid's gonna die, Randy? Why? Well, I just see the panel of, Kid dying, and Killer can't emote. He can't cry for his man because he ate the smile. Luffy hasn't had the first-hand experience that Zoro did with Otoko and her dad. Unable to cry and all of that. Sure, he saw the effects of Killer in Udon, but seeing him laugh at Kid's death, I think, would trigger something within him. And I really don't know what other purpose Kid's going to have in this story. Is he going to, race to Laugh Tale with him? I don't know. I mean, he does need a proper rival, and I don't think that proper rival is Law, so that's kind of keeping Kid alive. But I could see Oda going for that killer gut punch. So this scene with Kid and Killer to begin with kind of seemed like filler almost. He is attracting all of the possible weapons and metal that he can, and he just has this gigantic mountain of metal and guns and all of that he's going to bring to the fight with Kaido. So it seems to me now that Oda is setting up Luffy and Kid together up top. Could Law join in that? Possibly, but he's going to be late because he is all the way on the bottom floor, whereas Kid and Luffy are one floor apart from each other. Kid is on level 3, Luffy is about to get to level 3. So in the next chapter, we'll probably see Luffy meeting up with Kid, Sanji going off to figure out what is this thing that he's hearing. We'll see. And then Kaido is just thrashing the Scabbards. This is what we all expected, Bunch of Scabbards laying on the floor. Kinemon takes, a club to the face, potentially a Thunder Bagawa.
If he gets up, then he's got to be stronger than Luffy, guys. Right? If he gets back up, he just took that hit.
You can't power scale in One Piece. Don't get too hung up on these things, guys. I do like the hit that Denjiro does get on Kaido. I do like to see Oda showing us that these guys are still in it. They're still fighting. It's great. So it seems that Big Mom is going to head up top. We get some quick panels of Nami, Zoro, Drake, Apu, and Chopper reacting to Big Mom flying up top. Chopper's looks like he needs a doctor.
Savage.
This is definitely going to inspire Zoro to kind of kick things in gear, because if he sees Big Mom going up there, it's like, oh man, if Luffy's getting up there, this man needs me, and that's exciting. That's exciting. I do want Zoro to participate in that up there. A lot of people have thought, are we going to get the Supernova versus the Yonko? Well, if that's the case, then yeah, then we'll have Luffy, Zoro, Kid, Killer, Law, Drake, all against them. Apu maybe, Hawkins maybe. He still has to flip. He still has that trump card that's going to make someone stronger. I did say 2 things are going to prevent this from ending here, and that's Tama not being here and Hawkins not being here. and Hawkins appeared a few chapters ago. Tama showed up last week. We can actually, we can do this, guys. I think the possibility for failure is still there, but the path to victory is also there as well. Not against both of them. I think that we can beat Kaido. I don't think that we'll beat Big Mom. That's still my theory. You know, is Chapter 1000 going to be Luffy, you know, standing on, you know, the top of Onigashima and like Kaido and Big Mom, or on either side of him, and, you know, it's him from behind and he's ready to fight them, you know, 2 Yonko at a time. I could see it, but at the same time, I think that if that was the case, Luffy is going to get beaten very quickly. Yeah, that would be bad. That'd be bad, guys. That'd be bad. I think something is going to keep Big Mom from getting up there. I think that, you know, she is still the biggest threat that we have in this entire war. More so than Kaido. But this is Oda's game. It's, you know, we're going to see where he goes with all of this. If everything with Ivankov is true, and the Revolutionary Army is actually on Onigashima, then I'm convinced Chapter 1000 is going to be the reunion of Luffy and Dragon. Why? Because Chapter 100 was the introduction of Dragon. The chapter started with Dragon reciting a quote from Gold Roger and letting us know that he was okay with Luffy becoming a pirate. The chapter was called The Legend Begins, so this could be The Legend Continues, The Legend Cannot Be Stopped. But Chapter 100 started with Dragon. Wouldn't be surprised if Chapter 1000 ends with Dragon. This is definitely something that Oda would do. His affinity for numbers, the parallel between Chapter 100 and Chapter 1000. I'm getting goosebumps already. I think this is happening, guys. I want to thank everybody that's, you know, always supporting me, everybody that comments, everybody that watches. The video request for the collection tour is out. A lot of people were asking about a Discord last week. I mean, prior to the pandemic, I was never on Discord, but, you know, I post in the One Piece Reddit Discord, the Arlong Park Forums Discord. You know, I've been an admin there since the early 2000s. And but making my own, yeah, I could do that. I don't know what I would call it, though. I don't want to call it the Randy Troy server. I just think that that's not, you know, what it is. I mean, maybe the Randy Troy server. Yeah, it might be funny. You know, Randy Troy and the Savages, hashtag Sav Season server. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. There's some options. A lot of people have been asking me to go live. I think for 997, if the chapter comes out at a reasonable time, I'll go live. Just using YouTube. You know, don't expect, you know, a bunch of memes and stuff, guys. You know, it'll probably just be me and my laptop camera, and I'm definitely not reading the chapter to everybody. So if you're coming into it, have it already read. I'm going to read it. I'm going to have not read it yet. And, you know, I'm going to react, but I'm not going to do what other people do and read it out loud to everybody. I think everybody can read the chapter for themselves. But then after that, we can talk about it in the chat. That might be fun. So there's a lot of things to come into the future of the channel. And when I restarted this journey, you know, over a year ago, I didn't have any sort of expectations for where we are now and where we could go. I was just having fun, and I'm still having fun. So, you know, I'll keep doing this as long as you guys want me to. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week for 997. I'll see you hopefully even sooner than that with the VFX video. And yeah, let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit like if you enjoyed this. If you're sticking with me this long, you know, and this one is probably going to be a long one, thank you. Really. You're a real one.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.